Good morning, folks. This is Greg Judy at Green Pastures Farm. This morning we're going to be covering our neighbors and Alex and Bobby. And Alex is actually our farm manager, and Rowan, their son. They're doing a goat operation where they're actually doing contract grazing for areas like this. I mean, you've got some brambles and you don't want to spray. Look at here's the crew behind us. And I want to show you a little bit. We're going to start kind of where they were at, but I want Bobby and Alex to kind of talk about what they're doing here, and we can also zoom in on some of the actual damage they've done to these trees. This is autumn holly, folks. That is one invasive booger. It will take your farm over if you're not careful. And you know, it's mechanical. You cut it off, or do you want to use goats? You know, something more nature friendly. They're actually fertilizing it, and they're helping the environment as well. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and let them tell us what they're doing. Alex, Bobby?
Yeah, so it's called ZIGA Grazing. That's our business that we've just started. You saw our workforce in the background, the goats. And here's their last portion where they've just been. A lot of what we have here is autumn olive. It is an invasive species. And they are able to do quite a bit of damage to it. They love to graze the leaves, but they're also stripping the bark off. And that might not kill the whole plant in one go, but it's definitely going to kill a lot of this top growth and make it a lot easier for subsequent management measures to be taken.
Well, Alex, and Bobby, what's impressive to me is how high up on that tree they went. I mean, these goats.
Yeah, and it's entertaining to watch them because they will stand there and they will reach and.
It almost looks like you put. It almost looks like you put a ladder up there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and if you did, they'd probably go even higher.
Yeah, they grab those strips, and sometimes they can peel them real high. Sometimes you see them stand on each other's backs to get at it and stuff. But yeah, they definitely like to eat the stuff that's higher up, and that's their preference. But I mean, like this property that we're on right now is definitely an extreme property, a really overgrown area. So even for us to get the goats in here takes quite a bit of work. We're doing some
look at this
chainsawing and trimming ahead of time just to get pathways so we can set up our netting for the goats.
So Bobby, this netting, this is electric, right?
Yeah, this netting is electrified, and this is actually a Premier One fencing product, and this is actually a poultry netting, which is not ideal, but we've had a lot of poultry, so we're repurposing what we already had rather than buying new. But yeah, we use this electric netting, and it definitely is enough to keep the goats in. And with regularly moving them every couple days and stuff, they just, they're not really anxious to get out because they've always got plenty of food right in front of them, and keeps them full, keeps them entertained, and yeah, so the fencing works great. But yeah, in a property like this, we definitely have to do quite a bit of initial work ourselves before we can bring the goats in. Not all properties are like that. Sometimes it's just a kind of a contained area, and we can just set up our fence around that, and definitely but every property is a little different, so it's different techniques.
Well, I know I was talking to a lady in Columbia the other day, which is a pretty good sized town, and she had a neighbor that just eat up with poison ivy. She couldn't even go out in her backyard. And I'm like, I think we have something that would take care of the poison ivy.
Yeah.
You know, the goats.
Yeah.
And so, folks, for those of you all that have a lot of poison ivy on your place, you can't even go out and enjoy your farm or your backyard, you need to give Bobby and Alex a call. And their website is www.ziga.com. Z-I-G...
Yeah, it's ZIGA Grazing.
ZIGAGrazing.com.
Yep.
So to find it at www.zigagrazing.com.
Yep, and that's Z-I-G-A.
Yep. Okay, and talk just a little bit. What is ZIGA? What's it stand for?
So ZIGA, Z-I-G-A, is kind of an old German word for goat.
Okay.
Nowadays you would say ZIGA or SIGA.
ZIGA.
Alex is the real one with the German background, but yeah, that's how you would say. Z-I-E-G-E is the current German spelling for goat, but there is an old German version, ZIGA. So
Okay.
yeah.
Folks, look at the brush there. I mean, that's pretty tangly stuff. And they went down in that canopy and actually stripped the bark off, even the branches, not just the main trunk. But look at that. It looks like you took a draw knife and just took all the bark off. And so that tree's going to have a hard life. We've got, oh, I want to cover over here, Bobby and Alex. This, what do you got over there? That square box, is that your charger?
That's a solar charger.
Okay.
That I kind of created from a few different parts. We can take a look at it here. We got a solar panel.
Oh yeah.
And I just got myself a plug so I could disconnect it.
Oh yeah, there you go. Okay.
And I just took an old metal toolbox that I found and
oh, there you go. Yep.
I'll turn it off so that if you're touching the fence you won't get a shock. But I just got this Safex charger. It's just tied in here. Just kind of made use of the box here.
You got a battery.
A deep cycle battery.
Okay.
And then a solar charge controller so that the solar panel does not overcharge the battery continuously. That's important. Otherwise, the solar panel will wreck the battery by overcharging it.
Okay.
So it just stops it whenever the battery's full.
I gotcha.
And
this big yellow thing, what's that?
And that's just our ground rod.
Okay.
I just welded a bolt on there, and
oh yeah,
you can just, so whenever you got to move it, it's real quick to break down, pull it out of the ground. But I welded a angle iron on there so you can just stomp on it and you can get it in some pretty dry soil. If you had to use a post pounder on it, you could.
Oh, okay.
If the ground gets real hard.
Yep. Cool.
But pretty simple. You can buy prefab solar chargers, but you can also make them yourself out of parts.
So for those of you that don't, you might have a piece of ground, you don't have any electricity, and like, man, we kind of like to do something like this, but we don't have any way to power up that netting. Folks, they've got it. It's right here. They just bring it, they set it up, and they've got a lot of netting up here. I was looking when we drove in. It's out here on the road. I mean, there's quite a bit. Of course, they've got some set up in front and behind, but they're always keeping some set up in front. So with that, y'all want to go ahead and move up here where the goats are at? I mean, kind of.
Yep.
Oh yeah, look at them. Oh man, they're going to town. Look at that. That black one's up in the tree. While he's there, and there's a white one. I'm going to zoom in on that. Look at that. Now see, it's something that sheep won't do. That one goat, is he standing on the back? No, he's standing on a limb.
Yeah, he's.
I thought he.
They do stand on each other's backs.
I thought he had a back of a goat he's standing on.
You know, sometimes one of them will get up there and get a branch down, and then everyone else can come running.
Okay, so they buddy up on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool. And they are going after it. Folks, that brush is so thick. There's no way you could get down on all fours. And you might be, Rowan, their son, he might be able to crawl through there. That is some really thick stuff.
That's some pokeweed that they took care of.
Oh, that's pokeweed right there?
Yep.
Okay.
I like that pretty well.
I don't think I can get through there, though.
You don't think you can get through there? Rowan, what's your favorite part of the goats?
The goats.
The goats?
I think they're everybody's favorite.
You like watching them eat the brush?
Yeah.
It's kind of entertaining, isn't it? You don't really need a TV set. You can just come out here and watch the goats eat brush.
Yep.
And actually, Rowan wanted to be part of the business, so he actually owns 2 of the goats.
Oh, cool.
Here, so,
okay.
Yeah.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, you can see what they're doing. They haven't been in here very long on this particular strip, but they are already putting a major impact on it. And here you've got their salt and mineral in there.
Yep.
The goat. Yep. Okay, yep. So they can reach in and get them some mineral.
We've got a mineral with a spice pack. It's actually got a little cayenne pepper in it, so it'll make you sneeze.
So when you fill up your feeder, you don't want to take a big snort of that?
No.
The cinnamon and there's cinnamon and cayenne, and those will both get you. But
that helps them with with parasites.
Oh, it does? Okay.
Yep.
Well, you can see, folks, they're starting to open up the canopy in there. If you get down close, so you can see them back in there, kind of. But they're really stripping the trees off. It's unbelievable. I mean, my gosh, look at this. All the trees in there have been stripped. There's one they haven't got him yet, but they will get him. I don't know any other way, folks, other than taking a major brush grinder and coming here and chewing that. That's going to be mechanical, and you can grind that off, but you're not going to kill it. It will come back. And I think of the animal taking the bark. See, a tree lives, it's got to have bark to live. And when the goats denude it, by taking its lifeline away, the bark, the tree can't stay living.
Yeah,
So-
so I mean, there's, you know, if you come into a property like this that's really overgrown, there's a lot of dense vegetation, there's a lot of tall vegetation, a lot of woody vegetation. Anytime you come in here and you want to kind of clear this out or something, it's going to be a multi-faceted, multi-step approach to clearing this. And so, of course, the goats aren't going to they're not going to eat wood, they're not beavers. But they will, you can take away a major step of chemical and mechanical, you can take away that first step by really clearing, and then you may still have to come in with a chainsaw or something if your goal is to end up with grass here or something.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely, like, this landowner, he's just been amazed. I mean, before he didn't even know where to begin, and the cost of having this all mechanically taken out
Oh my gosh.
was going to be, you know, a huge expense. But now he can kind of see a little bit more what he's up against. The first step is kind of done for him with the goats. And so, yeah, you've got basically, and I mean, you know, in the grand scheme of things, you've got a huge energy source here that something can harvest, a goat, and turn into a really high quality protein, and basically, you know, a grass-fed meat product that nothing else really wants to eat this. None of the comrades, sheep, cows, they don't want to eat this stuff. Not many humans coming out here and going to be harvesting and doing very much with this autumn olive. So you've got a goat who can come in and harvest it. And, and these are Kiko goats. They're commercial Kiko goats, so they're a meat breed. And so eventually we'll also have that meat that we can sell then too, which is just, I mean, in terms of sustainable meat products, it doesn't get much more sustainable than something that a goat can come in and eat an invasive species. And
you're taking a worthless product and you're adding value to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the goats, you know, it is a renewable resource. So every year they have another set of twins. So you've always got another crop coming up.
Right.
And you might say you're growing kid goats with brush.
Yeah.
Brush.
That's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I've read this, and you all can back this up. If you don't make a goat graze below his kneecaps, he's not as likely to get parasites.
Oh, yeah.
So
we've certainly found that to be true so far. The goats have been nothing but healthy since we got them, and they've always been rotated every few days. And yeah, they have an abundance of. They really won't hardly eat anything off the ground if you provide them with brush to consume.
Yeah, I mean, there have been a few areas, properties where we've been on where there has been a little bit more grass that we've given them. And on occasion, they'll maybe eat some of the seed heads if that grass has already gone to seed. But they definitely run straight for this stuff, and this is what they prefer. They prefer to anything that they have to reach a little bit for. They don't want to have to put their head down in and get it. So yeah, if you can keep them eating higher up on that plant, then they're not exposing themselves.
That's huge. I noticed when I looked at them, I was watching them the other day, and I couldn't believe what they were eating. They were eating eastern red cedar trees.
Yeah.
In the middle of the summertime.
Yep.
They literally had taken all the bark off all the limbs and all the trunk. That cedar was dead.
Yeah. Yep.
And folks, eastern red cedar's taken over our country. If you don't keep control of that, you will have an eastern red cedar forest. And these goats will strip them clean. But what was amazing was those goats were eating it, and the body condition on the goats. They looked pretty darn good.
Yep.
And they were making a good living on cedar, of all things.
Yep. Yep.
Where you and I, we'd die if we tried to eat that stuff.
Yeah, right. We've even seen them crawl up on existing brush piles that had been built up, and there might still be some cedars on there with, you know, dead needles, and they'll still climb up on top of those brush piles and still eat some of those even dead needles too. So I think a lot of it also is just their, you know, goats are something that we haven't really domesticated to the extreme that we've had the opportunity to ruin them, kind of. So I feel like goats still really have a really instinctual, intuitive sense about eating stuff that also is kind of cleansing for their gut and stuff like that too. And I mean, a lot of people see this kind of stuff and think like, oh, well, it's not very nutrient dense or something, but actually it's the opposite. This stuff has got a deep root. It's going down there. It's pulling up nutrients. It's pulling up minerals and stuff that's way down in the soil that's otherwise cut off from grasses and stuff like that. But the goats are going for this stuff. So actually they're really getting a lot of those minerals and stuff that are deep down in the soil that are coming up via these plants that, like I said, no one else can really do anything with.
Any one of these plants will have higher protein than alfalfa will, including poison ivy.
Yeah, and we think of it as a piece of junk.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're taking a junk tree and getting some really good nutrient-dense meat out of it. Folks, in wrapping up a little bit, could you go just through a real quick synopsis of what it would be if somebody was interested in bringing you and your work crew to their place? What does that encompass?
Well, you'd start with contacting us.
Okay. And you can do that through your website.
Yeah, we actually have a request form on the website that is available.
Yep.
And then we would come do a site visit. We would take a look around and see what you have, and then we would come up with a price estimate for that, based on the acreage and a couple of other factors. And then we would come with our setup. We might come do a little preliminary work if we had to do some trimming or something, and get our fences in and figure out the logistics of water and stuff. And then we bring the goats, and depending how large the acreage is, we'll break it into some smaller portions, and we'll rotate the goats through so that they can really kind of have the maximum impact and then move quick enough to keep them well fed.
Yeah, and where are you all located at?
We're operating out of Rucker, Missouri, right here by Green Pastures Farm.
Okay.
And right now we're going about 40 miles, using about a 40-mile radius.
Okay.
Depending on the job, we might be able to go a little further. So if you find you're 41 miles away, don't hesitate to contact us. But that's approximately our range right now.
Okay. Cool. Well, folks, this is Bobby and Alex, and here's Rowan over here. And for those of y'all that want to help Rowan grow his goat business, get a hold of these folks. And again, that's what's the website? It's
www.ZIGA Grazing.com.
All right. Well, thank you all.
Thank you, Greg.
Thanks, Greg.
Yep. And everyone have a great day, and may all your grazing go good.